What's up everybody, and welcome back to the fourth installment of the Honda Integra DC2 rebuild project. Now, this video has taken a little bit longer to put out because we've done a lot of work around the unit. If you look over here, we've got all this area now set up for detailing and valeting, and then we can use this area for taking pictures of cars as well. It's got good lighting and it looks pretty cool. So let me talk a little about what's actually going on here, because this is a rented unit and I have to pay for it every month. So I've set up a business where I am still building and restoring cars, but we're also detailing and valeting customer cars. We do a little bit of restoration on customer cars too, and mechanical work. We also do vehicle recovery and a few more bits that you're going to see in the videos to come. So not only is it primarily for me, but there's a wider scope of things going on here. Now, for example, this is a 1990 Len Mayfair that a customer asked us to do a little bit of work on. The car was previously restored, but it had been left in a shed for quite a few years. Now, we have already kind of taken care of the paintwork. We still have a little bit more work to do on that. And I still have some engine work to do on it because it's not running. I had to make new brackets for this chrome bar and reinstall it, paint the brackets. This grille had to be taken off. All the back part of it was rusty. We had to paint that, put the chrome back on and reinstall it. And I still have to do, like I said, the engine work on it yet. So it's work like this that you're going to see on the videos going forward, as well as my own builds. And you'll see a full catalogue of all the photos over on my Facebook page, MSF Motors, of all the work that's been carried out here. So go on over and check that out. Now, this is also another customer car. I'm not ready to do any work on it just yet, so you are going to see it covered up in the background, but it will be released in a future video as well. This is not the car that was on the community post, so if you haven't seen that post, go check it out and you can take a guess yourself as to what you think the car is. Okay, now this is the work van. As you can see, I got some sign writing done all over it, and it's just a bit of advertisement for the business as well. So MSF Performance, we do car restoration. Professional detail and valeting, ceramic coatings, light mechanical work, vehicle servicing and vehicle recovery. There is another side to what I do as well, but I'm going to show all that in another video. So I think it's time to get back to the Integra now. Before we do that, I do have a few more clips that I've had recorded previously, so I'm going to show them next, and then we'll get back to work. Good morning. It's an early start here in the unit. We're heading up to Dublin with all of the engine parts. I have the engine block and the cylinder head and all of the nice little parts to go along with it, ready to go. So, Trident Manufacturing, here we come. So we're all loaded up, 2-hour drive ahead, let's get on the road. Okay, so we're back in the unit after dropping the engine off with Stephen in Trident Manufacturing. Stephen works there, but also owns another company called Iconic Auto Design, who will be supplying all of the new engine parts for the complete engine refresh. I will leave a link for Iconic Auto Design in the description, and I'll update you on the progress of the work as it's been completed. So first up, as you can see, I've laid out all of the suspension parts, the subframe, and I need to go through all of this and figure out what I'm keeping, what I'm going to restore, and then also what I'm going to upgrade. I will be upgrading the coilovers. I am going to be powder coating the rear trailing arms, including the front bottom arms. Obviously I'll be putting new bushings into them. I will be cleaning and repainting the subframe, and also the front crash bar. I know somebody in the comments asked would I sell this, but I'm still unsure what I'm going to do with that. I may have an option to use some of it, as I have found a company that can supply me with a front crash bar to suit the Integra DC2 Type R. And now I'm going to load up the alloys into the van, and I'm going to bring it to the tyre centre, get the tyres removed, and then drop the alloys off to get refurbished. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take apart all the suspension parts and send them away for powder coating. So these are all the suspension parts, including the gear linkages, front and rear sway bars, and the bumper support bar. These are all the parts that I will be sandblasting. Anything that you don't see here, I will be replacing with new parts. And now we got to take apart the front and rear calipers, and then they're ready for sandblasting too. So I've actually gone ahead and bought a sandblasting unit. So once that arrives, we'll continue with all of this. But for now, we're going to go back to the Integra and we're going to remove the petrol tank, because we can't continue the work whilst it's still installed in the car. The first thing that I'm going to do is disconnect the fuel pump, then disconnect the fuel lines from the petrol tank itself. Then I'm going to lift the car up and loosen off the straps underneath the tank and lower the tank down. Okay, we're in. Now you can see I have the plug disconnected and both the feed and the return fuel lines disconnected too. you remember in the last video, I said that I may have an option to do the underside of the Integra. Well, that option is right here. And this is my car rotisserie. We're going to use this to mount the Integra on it. Then we're going to flip the Integra on its side, clean it back, paint it, schultz it, and that's that job done. So I'm excited to get to work with this, to get it all mounted up. So let's get to work. Okay, now I'm going to bring the rotisserie over to the car, and I want to mount these 2 points to both of these plates that I've already bolted in place. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is get this level. Then I'm going to tack both of these arms onto the plates that I've bolted onto the chassis. After that, I'll bring it over to the bench and weld them up. Then we'll move on to the back part of the rotisserie and get that fixed up in place. Okay, so next up we're going to attach the rear part of the rotisserie to the car. We're going to do this by lowering down the rotisserie to the same height as the car at the moment, then shove it into the rear of the chassis. There's 2 holes underneath the chassis that I'll show you in a second. We're going to mark the 2 arms through the holes, then we're going to drill out the marks, put riv nuts in them, put it back into the chassis and bolt it up, and then that should work fine for us. Okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit and mounted the shell onto the rotisserie. It's bolted into both front points on the chassis, and on the back I have it shoved into the rear of the chassis. Underneath I drilled into the box iron and put in riv nuts, and then threaded in 2 bolts through the holes that were in the chassis already, and I done that on both sides. That's going nowhere, I hope. Okay, before we continue with the Integra, there's something else that I want to show you because I'm after buying something else. This is my 7.5 ton Renault Midland truck. So you're probably wondering why I bought a truck. Well, we're going to convert this into a recovery truck. So we're going to take off the curtain sider, take off the rear tail lift, then I'm going to build like a aluminium flat frame on the bed. We're going to put in tilt and slide rams, and then we're going to use it as a recovery truck. So a lot of work to do, should be fun, can't wait to start it, but we'll be starting on that in another video. So now that the shell is mounted up on the rotisserie, I'm almost ready to start working on the underside of the car. But before I go making too much of a mess in the unit, we are obviously still working on the Mini. So I'm waiting on parts for that. So we're going to push that aside and cover it over so that it's protected. And we're still working on my BMW. This is a priority at the moment because I want to get it back out of the unit. The interior has been fully valeted and the outside of it has been completely decontaminated, but we can't continue polishing and sealing the paintwork until we fix a couple stone chips that are around the body. And I've also got a couple goodies for the car that I want to put on it too. So the BMW has to go there, and then the Mini has to come back over here. So the plan is simple: fix stone chips and little scratches. We're going to remove the wheels and put in lowering springs. They're EP.4 40mm lowering springs. Put on the new front splitter, and then once all the paintwork is sorted out, we're going to reattach the boot spoiler. Okay, now that the wheels are off, we're going to start with the easiest thing. And to me, that's the lowering springs. So we're going to start at the back, put the rear springs in, and then move on to the front. So here we have two rear EP.4 Pro Series lowering springs. Let's get them in. The first thing that I'm going to do is take out the bottom bolt for both of the rear shocks. Next up, I'm taking both of the outer bolts off the lower control arm out of the back. Okay, now we've got both cups, top and bottom, transferred onto the rear springs, so let's put them in. Okay, now that the rear springs are installed, we're going to move on to the front. To do this, we're going to remove the front suspension, then we're going to change the springs out on the bench. Okay, so now that I have both of the front shocks out, next we're going to take off the top mounts, then pull the springs off and put on the new lowering springs. Then we'll put the top mounts back on and put the shocks back in the car. One thing to note is these are under load, so be very careful if you're ever taking top mounts off, because the force behind the spring when you remove the top mount could be lethal. So just be very careful. Now I have both lowering springs put into the front shocks, so let's put them back in the car. Okay, so that's all of the lowering springs installed, front and back. Next I'm going to move on to the paint, but before that I'm going to do a bit of a tidy up here first. Right, now that I have the place a bit tidier, let's tackle these stone chips. I have them very lightly marked, the ones that I need to repair. There's not too many, but still a few to get through. I have from 2000 up to 3000 grit sandpaper, some water for wet sanding. Here's the touch-up paint, it's BMW 300 is the code. Okay, so now I have all the stone chips filled in with paint. They're all dry, so next up we're going to wet sand them all. We're going to start with 2000 grit and work our way up. Once it's all wet sanded, I'm then going to give the entire car a heavy cut.
You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up.
Okay, now that we have wet sanded all of the little touch-ups, next we're going to go over them with 5000 grit sandpaper. Once that's done, we can get the car into the detailing booth and then start on the polishing.
No flaws, snakes in the grass, cut those off. Yo, squad shady, my bros raw. No breaks, we go, 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 go. Throw shade, that's a no, 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 no. Go high, go low, low, low. Like spinning in a 644. Cash money like 504. Ball like AD24. No sleep, need more, more, more. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Ooh, I'm a real one, my day ones. Try speak up, can't say none. Try dig dirt, there ain't none. I make the money, then save up. 10 to 80, my save ones. Take to the top from the base one. New car, race on. Fast lane, pace on. With the booyah, that's a flex. Not human, I ain't from another planet. I'ma teleport, might vanish. I'ma wake up, do damage.
Now the BM is in the booth and it's ready for a heavy cut polish. So I want to get this done this evening because tomorrow I want to get back to the Integra. So that's the bonnet done with the heavy cut. As you can see, it's looking good. No sanded marks left. So I'm going to plough on and get the rest of the car done and then move on to the next stage. That's the heavy cut done. Next up, we're on to the medium cut polish. so far the paint has got a heavy cut and a medium cut. It's looking great, but next we're going to use a swirl removing compound. Once we've that done, we're going to clean all of the glass and then finally give it a ceramic coating. Okay guys, so that's all of the work done on the BMW for now. So next up, back to the DC2. Okay everybody, so now I have the back panel, both inner arches and the whole of the underside sandblasted. There is some welding to do on the floor of the car, but most of it's going to be done from the inside of the car. So what I'm going to do next is give the outside of it a coat of epoxy primer to protect the bottom of the car from surface rust appearing again. So once that's done, we'll look at the welding then. Now another thing, I've done this already, but obviously you need to wipe everything down before you paint it. But because I was sandblasting all of this, the chassis rails and inside the sills and anywhere there is a gap between the car floor and a rail, it traps the sandblasting beads. So you need to spend time with your hoover and an air gun blowing it all out. Now it did take me a good hour and a half to do, but it's well worth it, because what you don't want happening is while you're painting the car and rotating it, is the sandblast beads falling out of wherever it's trapped onto wet paint. Then that's a whole other ordeal. Now guys, if you're like me and you need to buy aftermarket or genuine Honda parts for your build, well, the place to go is Iconic Auto Design. And the best thing is, if you make an order with them, you will get a further 10% discount when you use code MSF. So I'll tag the link for their website in the description. And now finally, I am delighted to see a load more progress on the Integra build. But join me next time, where we are going to finish all of the welding, finish all of the painting, and who knows, maybe some more. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and why not give it a share. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.